you guys enjoy your whatever that is.
All right. Test. Test.
Test.
Test. Test. Well, hello and welcome back to segment number 3 of Convincing Idiots. I am Millennial Nick alongside Gen X Brian. And this evening, ladies and gentlemen, we have our final segment, which features some of our favorite sidekicks. Now, we have sidekicks that we like. Zenial Dean is one of our favorite sidekicks that we have. And it's debatable whether or not he is, in fact, human. For this list tonight specifically, we will be keeping it strictly to non-human sidekicks. Right, so your Robins and your Hajis are out of the question for this. So
That's right.
we're going to keep it to non-human sidekicks. It is a bit of a niche category, but we figured we'd branch off here. There's a lot of great ones in pop culture and in certainly cartoons, TV shows, movies, etc. So we will be discussing our personal Mount Rushmores of favorite non-human sidekicks. And Brian, if you don't mind, I'd like to start because
Sure.
I want to take this one before you do because I feel like you would. Dean certainly would if he was here, and anyone, quite frankly, who already listens to this podcast and is a fan of ours would also choose this one. My favorite non-human sidekick, personally, would have to be of the electronic variety. What better sidekick for you could there be than something that gets you around town effortlessly, electronically, and bisecularly?
That is a word.
And what better option would you have other than an electric bike that is your perfect sidekick that is dying to be in your life today? And you might be thinking to yourself, where would I find my own electric bike? Well, luckily, you already listen to Convincing Idiots, and you know you got the hookup. We're going to tell you where to find it, and that would be our friends at RPM Bike Shop. They're located not far from here in Carrollton, Ohio. You can give them a call today at 330-808-7792, or you can go to their Facebook page, which is RPM Bike Shop. Just search it up on the search bar to see the fantastic electric bikes or brand new electric sidekicks for you. You can also go to their website, which is rpmbikeshop.com, and find your way to a brand new bro or she-mance that you never knew you needed in the first place. That's right. You and your brand new sidekick electric bike from RPM Bike Shop. There it is. So now that we've got it in the spirit, I've gotten one off the books already, so you can't take it anymore. Electric bikes are off the table.
Dang. Okay.
But the tone has been set. Brian, non-human sidekick, go.
One of my first ones as a kid, one of my favorite cartoons. Watched this show very religiously as a kid, and it's still out there available now on streaming. But one of my first favorite non-human sidekicks, Dino from the Flintstones. Dino, the dinosaur dog. So always kind of a love-hate type thing with Fred, jumping on him and kicking him out of the house and this and that. But still, Dino was one of the first sidekicks that I can recall. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Dino the dinosaur.
Very good dinosaur. I mean, if the worst you get out of your pet dinosaur is that he licks you, I mean,
yep,
that's a pretty good day.
Jumped on Fred when he came home, licked him, like you say. It was a welcome home from work and everything. Voiced also by the great Mel Blanc, the dinosaur. So,
well, there you go.
There you go. That's it.
Great pick. Fantastic. Dino's a good one. All right, I am going to go. I'll start with one of my childhood favorites. As you know, a child of the 90s such as myself, and I've mentioned it many times before, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers were a big part of my childhood, and I would have to say there was probably no more serviceable of a sidekick Then Alpha 5. He was the robot in the command center, and he was an aide to the Power Rangers, but more so directly a sidekick to Zordon, the
Mm-hmm.
floating head or interdimensional being in the command center that gave the teenagers with attitudes their powers. But honestly, Zordon's just a floating head in a fucking tube. So at the end of the day, without Alpha 5 there at the control panels to press the buttons and do his bidding, he's not getting very much done. He is, after all, the one that summons the teenagers to the command centers, and all Zordon does is call out the orders, and Alpha makes it happen. Alpha functions the viewing globe. Alpha gets the kids their mission details and stuff, and what monsters attacking Angel Grove. Alpha 5 was a very serviceable and, quite frankly, sweet non-human robot sidekick. So Alpha 5 is the first one on my list.
Very good. I want to have like Zennial Dean as a head in a tube of these 300th musical episode. There's something there too.
Yeah. And maybe with like a mute button on it. You can just kind of like, when it gets to be too much, you just kind of like
it.
Hit that button.
And the audience could click the mute button.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. We're working this now.
That. I like that.
Yeah, it's writing itself as we go through this one episode. Absolutely.
It might just be easier to have the Golden Dean head there and just call it a day.
Mm-hmm. I like it. Oh, yeah. There you go. Now you're talking.
Sculpture, the silent sculpture.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, well, you've mentioned it already. He's on my shirt also. One of my favorite non-human sidekicks, Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, some could argue, well, he's a main character on the show. It's called the Scooby-Doo Show, which I agree with that too. But I consider him more of a partner with mainly Shaggy, of course, right? You can argue that Shaggy's a sidekick of Scooby, is it? But Scooby was sort of a sidekick of the entire gang.
Sure.
There you go. I mean, I don't know what else you want besides a dog that can solve mysteries. All I have to do is put himself in extremely dangerous situations by giving him, a couple of dog biscuits or something like that. Yeah. So, it's pretty good.
Yeah. I would say it is the Scooby-Doo show, right? Because he's the dog, and it's easy to pick him out of the litter than the other, kids on the shirt there in the Mystery Machine. But let's be real. The other ones solved the mystery. Scooby and Shaggy fucked off and ate most of the time.
And so somehow they wind up screwing up and catching the villain almost every time.
Yeah. All the legwork is done by Daphne, Velma, and Fred. And the other two are fucking off and trying to control their raging munchies, and somehow they're the heroes. But no, Scooby is a good one. It's always good times. Scooby and Shaggy have a couple good run-ins with Gene Simmons specifically in the Scooby and Kiss one. It's pretty entertaining.
I'm gonna watch that thing soon. Absolutely.
You would like it. You really would. Yeah. Like I said, there's enough in there for Kiss fans to like the little Easter eggs. I mean, it is very much. It was good for Ollie and I to watch together because he was just getting the cartoon Scooby and Kiss, and he's so these, mashing of the two worlds that he enjoys. And I, as a adult Kiss fan, was enjoying the little Easter eggs they were dropping throughout the show. But it was good. Yeah. All right, next up on my list, I'm going to go with Abu from Aladdin. Abu is a very loyal monkey sidekick of Aladdin, always by his side for richer or for poorer. Abu was with him to the end, and when he was just a poor street rat, he was helping him steal food. And when he got into the thick of it with Princess Jasmine and the genie, he's helping him live his double life and cover for him as Prince Ali. And Abu is just a good guy, good little monkey guy, good guy to have around. And I would take Abu as my sidekick any day.
Love it. One of my favorite characters of the entire Star Wars universe. There's a couple that fit this description, certainly.
Sure.
R2-D2.
Yeah.
Right. Luke's sidekicks, of course, obviously the sidekick of another non-human, C-3PO, but I just always loved R2-D2. The whole attitude, the heroism.
Yep.
As you said, certainly if it wasn't for the characters, his determination in A New Hope, the way he was portrayed, then it all goes to shit immediately. If she would have fed the plans into him and he would have said, "Nope, I'm just too afraid," or whatever it is, he was determined to get off that ship and fulfill the mission to get that recording over to Ben Kenobi. Then that's it. Just
Yep.
love it. Always
Yep.
take charge. Powerful in his own right and funny and everything else. Had a great look to him, the character.
Yep.
So just an awesome, one of the few characters in virtually every single movie. He was in all the prequels, I believe, and everything. So,
yes.
But great character, great sidekick. There you go.
Yeah, R2. And there again, like very strong-willed. He didn't give a fuck what C-3PO was telling him or telling him not to do or to be cautious about. He was just like, "That's what I'm doing." And he went and did his own thing.
Yep, that's right.
Almost a leading man in his own right, but sidekick certainly to the two other main characters.
It really did him a disservice in the first couple newer movies. They tried to get that, was it the one
BB-8? BB-8, yeah.
That was a fine character. It was okay, but why?
Sure.
Why are you trying to replace R2-D2? Like you say, unnecessary.
Yeah, like revamp that's what it was. It was kind of like, here's new R2-D2. It's much like when they did I think what they started to do with like Darth Maul in the prequels is like, here's your new Darth Vader. You know what I mean? Right. And it's like, yes, you understand that, but in those later ones, it's like you still have R2-D2. Like, it's a different thing. You don't need to replace him or make another version of that.
Exactly.
Well, there was a lot of things that happened in the Disney Star Wars that were fucking unnecessary. So that's the least of the concerns.
Like the movies themselves.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the last two ones. You could have just
the last two. Yeah, the first.
The Force Awakens could have just been the equivalent of like the Friends reunion for Star Wars, and we could have just called it a day and been like, "There you go." That was fun, wasn't it? Yep.
Yes.
All right, I'll keep it Star Wars and go with another. This is just a fucking layup right here. Chewbacca. Come on, of course he's on. I would imagine, literally. I mean, I joked about RPM and the electric bike, but if Dean were here, I would imagine all three of us would have Chewbacca on the list. He's probably the most blatant answer. There again, almost kind of. His relationship with Han Solo is at face value just pilot, co-pilot, and they're friends, and they're these kind of outlaws together. And as you go through the movies, and especially like I know not a lot of people really like the Solo movie. I did, but I just thought that was a really cool look at like their relationship and how they came to know each other. And we've talked about it in past episodes. Certainly the hurt that you hear from Chewbacca when Han is eventually, spoiler alert, killed by Kylo Ren in The Force Awakens. Just it's a long running, deep relationship and connection. And even, when Han's being, thawed from carbonite, or when he's being frozen in carbonite, and just the distress that Chewie has, it's more than just they rely on each other in a means to survive, but they truly care about each other. And he is, of all of the sidekicks that I have listed, he's probably the one I would want most, as far as like having by your side through thick and thin, and really having a deep caring in the relationship. So yeah, Chewbacca is probably like the sidekick of all sidekicks, in my opinion. So he certainly has to be on my Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, he fucking left his family, Lumpy and everybody, just said to hell with them after Life Day.
Yeah,
just that's it. I'm out of here. Han
got him back to Kashyyyk for one Life Day, and he's like, "Okay, we're good here." Yep,
that's it. Yep.
My dad's always whacking off to virtual porn, and my kid's trying to put his head back on his fucking bantha, and my wife's whipping and cooking weird shit and flip whip and all that. He's done. That's another thing that makes Chewbacca great. He knows when to walk away from a bad situation.
Yeah. That's a fine quality. No, but you're right with him. It's like even as a kid, like you said, it's like this is the type of male friend that I want. Just somebody who is loyal. They clearly cared about each other, and it was cool about that is, obviously it's a different is an alien. It's a different race. It's an alien race, a different race, and despite the different races and other, they're still the best of friends. And there's certainly different, things you could learn from that as well. Right? You have to look the same and come from different backgrounds and all that to be good friends and loyal to each other and everything else. So, yeah, you're right. Just it's so good, and you're exactly right. You felt the pain from Chewbacca when Han something was going on with Han, and Han was clearly worried about Chewbacca as well. And so yeah, great character on my list as well. Good.
Yeah.
All right. I have oddly another character voiced by Mel Blanc, who did all the Looney Tunes characters and everything else. He did Dino. Later on in the 70s, one of my favorite sidekicks, also a robot, Twiki, the robot from Buck Rogers in the 25th century. So,
okay,
this was a very ridiculous, goofy television series. They had 2 seasons of it. Like during the, so many shows tried to pick up on the popularity of Star Wars. You had Battlestar Galactica, then you had this one as well. But if you were looking for something that's crazy 70s fun, and it's very interesting when you go back and look at some of these 70s shows where it's like, this was, prime time, quote unquote, family television. It's like, boy, some of the costumes were a little bit risque. Some of the humor was a little bit risque and all that, but it's just a goofy, guys from the 20, from modern times. He's frozen basically in space, and then he wakes up, it's 500 years later, basically. So he's a guy from the past living in the future. They go on space adventures and stuff like that. But he's a little robot, and just fun, cool, interesting. Before your time, but you can find it on streaming out there. I think it's on NBC app and stuff like that. So,
okay.
Yeah. Watch 1 or 2 episodes, and I would defy anybody not to get hooked on the goofy ridiculousness of it, but fun.
Okay.
Yep.
I've heard of that, probably from you.
Probably.
I've heard Buck Rogers, but I don't think I'm familiar with the character, so I'll have to maybe when I'm feeling some jazz cabbage one night, maybe I'll just flip it on when I'm.
That'd be perfect.
Yeah. Yep.
Perfect. Yes.
Yeah. All right. For my next one, I'm going to make it 2 for 2 as far as episodes mentioning this character. It also fit my last week's Mount Rushmore, and again, Kit makes another appearance from Knight Rider. I have Kit again. Kit was a fantastic sidekick. He was a car, and in Knight Rider, Kit was definitely a sidekick. He could operate under his own doing, and he was just, what better thing to have than a car to come bail you out of a bad situation? It's a cool setup. So Kit from Knight Rider is on my Mount Rushmore as well.
Excellent. I had Chewbacca on my list. I'm going to replace Chewbacca with someone from my honorable mention. Well, you know what? Another one from my childhood, man. I had Dino the dog, and the more modern version of Dino, I guess, all the way in the future. He's like the polar opposite of Dino, Astro the dog from the Jetsons.
Oh, yeah.
How about that? So, again, just another fun character. Is not Scooby Doo ish, but again, same type of deal. Faithful dog.
Yep.
Just like to be walked on a treadmill floating out in a crazy setting, a crazy dangerous setting on a treadmill for some reason off a giant platform where you could fall to your death.
Yeah.
For no reason. You could have had it easily inside or a platform somewhere else, but no, it was always on this side of the building type of thing.
It looked a lot cooler to have it out in space.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
yep.
Astro. There you go.
And for my final Mount Rushmore, of course, I have to play close to my heart with this one. And I don't know how much of a sidekick he necessarily qualifies as in the traditional sense, but I'm gonna go with Salacious Crumb.
Of course.
Because I mean, he is the sidekick to Jabba in some
He is.
respect. He is,
Sure.
I mean, he's by his side,
Mhm.
literally all the time, until fucking Princess Leia comes along in her gold bikini and it gets moved further down the tail. But whatever. Salacious Crumb is there to make Jabba feel good. He is his court jester. He's there to laugh at Jabba and make Jabba laugh. And I love Salacious Crumb. As much as it would be nice to have a Chewbacca, let's face it. I hang out with people like Dean, so I'm gonna go with the scum and villainy. If I actually had a sidekick, it would be someone like Salacious Crumb. So and my fondness for the character, so I had to put Salacious Crumb on Mount Rushmore as well. Any other honorable mentions, Brian?
I do have some. By the way, I'm going to mention real fast. I forgot to bring it up in Popcorn Headlines. The gold bikini worn by Carrie Fisher in that scene just sold at auction for
Screen got thumbs up for that.
175. Yes, it sure did. Damn straight. Other
As
things
it
as
should.
well. Thank
As
you.
it should.
Thank you. $175,000 for that.
That's all?
It seems like it would have went for more.
Actually,
That's what it was.
I feel like it would have sold for more.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I do have a couple honorable mentions. You want to go back and forth and just go through a list quickly, or how do you want to do it?
However you want to do it. Whatever you want to do.
Go back and forth. More 70s goofy movies. Clint Eastwood starred in Every Which Way But Loose and a sequel, Every Which Way You Can. Clyde the Orangutan, Right Turn Clyde. Clyde. Did you ever see those movies? That's definitely before your time.
No,
so
I don't know. Honestly, and you're gonna laugh at me when I say Clint Eastwood movies.
It's okay. Go ahead.
I feel like I've seen Gran Torino for sure.
That makes sense.
And he wasn't. Was he even in that $1 Billion Baby or whatever? Like, that's
Yes.
it. Was he in it or just direct? I know he directed it.
He directed it. No, he was in it, I think.
Was he in it? Okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
those are the two I've seen.
That makes sense. Though.
Like, so
okay.
I don't know of, I know of him as the, Western movies, the hero, the that's what he's known for, but I've not seen any of them. Like, not a snippet.
Nah, it's okay. These are movies like, these are like 100, a kind of a B movie, 70s comedy. There's a certain blueprint, and these definitely fit that description. They're 1,000% 70s movies.
Yeah.
The premise is he's like a guy that fights. And people bet on him, and he fights like in behind a warehouse and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I can't remember the whole plot necessarily, but he had this orangutan, an actual animal actor trained orangutan. He wore a wristwatch, which was kind of funny. The orangutan did, and it was a whole thing. Right turn, Clyde. He would punch. So he would turn and just punch whoever was to the right of him or something like that. So, anyway, as a kid, it was great. So Clyde from those movies in the 70s. If you're my age, you might remember them. If you're older than 40, I'm sure you never. Or younger than 40.
Younger than 40,
you never saw them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. I got an honorable mention here. Brian Griffin from Family Guy.
Great one.
Brian Griffin's a good one. Most notably, he's kind of commonly the sidekick to Stewie, or chaperone to Stewie, or whatever. But some of my favorite Family Guy episodes have to do with just Brian and Stewie doing their own thing. And, Brian, as the non-human member of the Griffin family, certainly gets an honorable mention in my book.
It's a great one. I've got the robot from Lost in Space, another show I liked as a kid, watching reruns of that. So with Will Robinson and the robot, Danger, Will Robinson, and all that type of stuff. Robot was cool, had a cool look to it. Whoever the voice actor was great. Just had a cool visual on the screen. Always liked the robot from Lost in Space.
Nice.
I guess it was just Robot. They had no name other than Robot.
I was going to say, did he?
Robot? That is called Robot. That's it.
He didn't have a name?
Nope. Just robot. Yeah. That's it.
Interesting.
Yep.
I also have, of course, everyone says no one likes him.
Mhm.
That simply can't be true because I know one person who does, well, two at least people who like him. Me and Turbo Man. Turbo Man's faithful pet tiger, Booster. Everyone says no one likes you, Booster, and Booster takes a lot of shit, but god damn it, Booster's there for Turbo Man through thick and thin. And when, at least in the Wintertainment Parade, notably in
Mhm.
Jingle All the Way, which everyone has surely seen and loves, when the
course.
Turbo Man doesn't show up and Howard has to play Turbo Man, even the guy playing Booster is showing up. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's there. So Booster, the character, catches a lot of shit for not being Turbo Man, but at the end of the day, every Turbo Man needs their Booster. So Boosters gets an honorable mention.
That's right. I cannot top that one, Nick.
Nor should anyone ever try. That's as good as it gets right there.
That's right. The only thing they do with something booster is boost the sales of our friends of Golden Heart Tattoo by providing this spectacular read, Nick. Go find our friends at Golden Heart Tattoo, now in Wadsworth, Ohio, at Golden Heart. Are they changing their name, by the way? Have you heard anything? Are they changing
I have
their
not
name
heard
or not
any more.
officially?
I know they tossed it around, but I mean, they're still on all the socials as Golden Heart, and
Okay.
I'm not sure. I've got an appointment with Greg coming up here in a few more weeks, so
Okay.
I'll get some more info. Last time I was in there when I went and saw the shop, they were tossing around some fun ideas, but I don't think anything's been done yet. So for now, it is still Golden Heart.
Okay, so there you have it. So you find them on Facebook at Golden Heart Norton, Norton.
Which is also false. Not there. I mean, that is where to find them on Facebook, but physically they're not there. So all subject to change. But as of right now, as you hear this, that's how you find them. Yes.
Very good. Online, goldenhearttattoos.com, or give them a call. That's the best thing you do. 234-706-2982, and get your tattoo of your favorite non-human or human sidekick, or perhaps a floating Zennial head.
Yes.
If you so choose.
That's right.
Nick, we have done it. We provided global entertainment.
That's right.
We have workshopped already. I think we're probably 97% of writing already. Our 300th episode musical.
Oh, for sure. We're dotting the I's and crossing the T's at this point. It's basically done.
Yeah, it's just getting the agreement signed and the playbills printed, Kinko's or something like that. Yeah. We'll figure that part out later.
Mm-hmm. Dean will need something to do since he's not allowed to talk as much on that one, so we'll have him do that.
Yep, that's right. Yep. That's right. So you want to take us out, please?
I would love to. We have had another successful episode 201 this time of Convincing Idiots, and as always, if you don't want to miss out on all the fun, and you just can't get enough of us here on this podcast each and every week, feel free to go find us on all your favorite social media accounts. We are on them, and to find links to them, we have conveniently placed them for you on our Linktree. So go to Google and type in Convincing Idiots, Linktree, LINKTREE, and follow those links, like, subscribe, rate, review, follow, all that fun stuff. You can also find all that information and a link to our merch store. You can find out little tidbits about us, and there are ways to help out the show if you so choose on our website, which is convincingidiots.wordpress.com. So, for yet another episode of Convincing Idiots, I am Millennial Nick.
Gen X Brian.
Have we convinced you that we should coerce our favorite sidekick of all, Zennial Dean, to come back and join us for another episode of Convincing Idiots?
Hey, Dean with Convincing Idiots. Brian and Nick here. Like and subscribe.